My story begins when I was a teenager and fully facing the realization that none of the role models that were immediately available to me were even a little bit happy. In hopes of transcending the depression and resignation that dominated my local universe, I became a dedicated seeker, and my life began to revolve around my own commitment to personal and spiritual evolution. I was always working on myself in one way or another. I read books, attended workshops, and experimented with my life. I learned that anything else I could learn from these other sources was ultimately just a map, and that no map is equivalent to the territory it describes. With the territory of human experience changing constantly, and those changes accelerating, I found that questioning maps that I'd found useful so far and updating them was just as important as seeking out new ones. One set of maps that I discovered, called NLP, which stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, seemed to have this process of ongoing testing and revision built in at a very fundamental level. NLP also provided a set of tools for creating entirely new maps of new dimensions of experience completely from scratch. I eventually went so far as to become a certified master practitioner and trainer in systemic NLP, which is a particular branch of NLP that trades in some of NLP's potential to influence other people for an even greater potential to influence oneself. My search for useful maps of effective ways to live was passionate and ongoing, and NLP helped me organize, integrate, cross-reference, evaluate, and update the many useful maps I found. As my life rolled by, many maps came and went, replaced by new ones that described the territory of my experience more usefully. Others have stood the test of time and are still proving useful decades after I first discovered or created them. Along the way, my commitment to personal evolution paid off wonderfully. I experienced healing of major childhood traumas. I shed long-standing and unwanted habits. I found a sense of wholeness that revolutionized my relationships. I even made it to that pot of gold at the end of the New Age rainbow, manifesting financial abundance, and increased my income from starving artist below poverty level to over 6 figures in a little under 2 years. Despite all of this, I found myself in my mid-40s feeling like I was missing something fundamental and important. All of my successes seemed somehow incremental and limited, and I felt just shy of real success at life as a whole. I had crossed a subtle threshold somewhere along the way where the good times began to outweigh the bad, and yet I was still stressed out, angry, confused, guilt-ridden, hurt, worried, disappointed, or in pain a lot of the time. I spent between minutes and hours almost every day suffering internally in one way or another. And it was hours a lot more days than it was minutes. And it was whole days several times a month. Now, there were times of profound peace and clarity and empowerment, and they were amazing and intense and were part of what kept me going on my path. They were also vulnerable to a long list of recurring experiences that so far I had been unsuccessful at preventing and felt completely powerless to maintain a state of peace in the face of. I was generally healthy and free from any ongoing disease, yet I had chronic back, neck, and shoulder pain just from the stress of my everyday life. I was part of a wonderful, supportive community and had a circle of friends who loved me and cared about me, and yet I frequently argued with them and felt hurt over experiences of exclusion, rejection, or blame. On the one hand, life was good. I was happier, more empowered, and less stressed than most people that I knew. On the other hand, the very beliefs that had gotten me this far promised so much more, and I wanted it.